All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, right here, we got the one and only, we got the legendary, we got member of the Terror Squad, Full Eclipse, right here, we have the legendary Cuban Link live on the line, man. How are you doing this evening?
Live and direct, it's your boy Cuban Link, man. Shout out to DJ Immortal. I'm here, man. I'm chilling. Had a great day, shooting some new stuff. So I was around the Bronx just picking out areas and doing little snippets of, my upcoming album, which is Missing Link. So it felt great, man. It felt great, I can do that in a minute.
I gotta say, man, it must be good to actually just kind of go back to your roots as well and just be able to put together some visuals and, like you said, stuff for your album, man.
Oh, it feels great, and especially when you got that energy again. Some artists, real artists like the cloth that I come from are artists of intellect, artists of bars, lyricism. So those kind of artists usually take their time and they convey their message in a way that only they could. So it's a process. So you have to really actually feel it. So lately, as far as this couple of years, I've been feeling, that special energy, thanks to God, the Almighty above, that gave me the vision to see clearly and really put my music and everything first and take care of it the right way this time. So it's coming out really, really good, I'm excited.
And I got to say quickly, just before we dive into these questions, man, I just got to say thank you so much for just giving us a bit of your time here this evening, man. Me personally, I grew up a huge Cuban Link and Terror Squad fan, man. So just being able to chop it up with one of my favorite East Coast MCs this evening is truthfully an honor for me. So just thank you so much for your time this evening.
You're welcome, man. You're welcome. Anytime. I know yesterday I got a little caught up with, I took a little NyQuil, man, because I didn't sleep good the day before. And I was feeling a little cough coming on, so I took a little NyQuil, and that NyQuil put me to bed, man. So I woke up late. So my apologies for yesterday, but definitely taking care of it now. So it's all good.
No need to apologize, man. That NyQuil is definitely a slap in the face sometimes, man. It definitely does.
Always the old school. That's always the old school remedy for everything too. You know that shit puts you out.
But I want to take you back to the beginning of your amazing career within the hip-hop community, man, where you were actually a member of the group Full Eclipse. I was wondering if you can actually just tell our listeners the story behind that group, and of course, how did you actually meet the other two fellow rappers? And I know one of them as well is the late, great Big Pun.
Right. That's a movement that started from the block, South Bronx. East South Bronx, 167 in Prospect, between Prospect and Union. That's where I was from when I met Pun. And, we started off as friends. So, as friends do, we do everything together, from the gym, from the boxing gym, to the basketball courts, and just hanging out, just on some regular stuff. And then the hip-hop. Of course, I was doing my hip-hop thing on the low at the time. So I was already, at least, let me say, the 8th grade, I was already writing rhymes and stuff like that, but on the low, nobody knew too much about me doing that. But when, some school projects came by, I represent with the hip-hop, gems and started doing projects with hip-hop incorporated with it. So I always had that background with me after I learned English. And Pun always had his little background. We didn't know about that, within each other. We was friends already, but we didn't really, put that focus into that. Until that one day, I took him to my block, and then, we had, in my block, we had a building at the corner called the Halls of Hell, and that's 811, 167th Street. That's part of my buildings, and that's where we used to do the ciphers. Everybody did the 40s and the blunts, and we used to, pass them around and then start the freestyle session. And Sage was actually a big motivator when it came to that. He got the shyness out of us. So one day we'd be just chilling there, and we was doing a cipher, and I went, I killed it, and then later on some of my people went, and Pun came out of nowhere. And that's my first time really understanding the love and the lyricism he had as an MC. Back then I was like, because back in the days that was a hobby for us. So Sage is always the dopest one. He was the most mature one that was already in a group, like a professional group, young and ruthless back in the days. So he was already on that level. We were still coming up. We was shy to get on and shit. It took a couple of beers, little puffs of the blunt, and then, that shyness get away, and then, of course, the people's around you, cheering you on. So that's when I first heard Pun, and then after that, we was, impressed of what we both could do. And then around that time, it's like people in the block would team up with another person and just become like, you know what I'm saying, just that little group within yourselves, you know, the people you hung out with. And me and Pun, you know, decided to, you know, get together on it, on some real stuff, like start writing, you know, some lyrics to some songs. So we was called Rough and Rugged at the time. It was just me and him, because Face was spoken for. Then Face ran into some little problems with his group, and then he became part of us. So when he became part of us, I thought of the name Full Eclipse. Because now we had to change the name. It was in this Rough and Rugged. 2 people, there's 3 people. And then, you know, we started making noise around the hood. So Full Eclipse, that was the origins of Full Eclipse, you know what I'm saying, from Little Bills to the Ranch, which is another building next to us, and then Forest Projects, where Joe is from and the DITC is from. So all of those, you know, beautiful elements was surrounding us. You know, we were the new buildings. So we started making noise on that level. And then we were Spanish, you know, we was predominantly black people, you know what I'm saying, folks just rapping out here. So we was like these Spanish boys that could spit, you know what I'm saying? We could do it like the black boys could. And, of course, we hung out with nothing but black people. You know what I'm saying? That's just, you know, how we came up, playing basketball and doing everything, other things among each other. You know, at that time, color wasn't really a thing, man. It was just hip-hop. Hip-hop embodied that whole thing. It was all about the music, you know, the style, you know, the clothing, the fashion, the walk, the graffiti. And it was just that love, you know?
And just going back quickly, how you actually mentioned that what time you first heard Big Pun freestyle, was that the very first time he ever actually freestyled and stepped into a cipher, or did he actually do it kind of by his lonesome and did some practicing, or was that the first time he ever did it himself?
Well, when I met Pun, like he was the older guy, so he hung out with the older dudes. You know, I was still younger. I'm 2 years younger than him. So I was like 16. He was 18. So he was already 18, but he was an older 18. He was already rocking with the big boys. You know what I'm saying? With the drug dealers that was older, you know, in that type of circles. Because he was selling little drugs back there. He was there and all that. So, you know what I'm saying? So he was around it. I was still in school. I was still, you know, living with my moms and all of that. So he was like the big brother at the time because we were close like that. But when he stepped on that in that cipher at the time, it was my first time really hearing him, you know what I'm saying, going to the beat. Because at that time, you know, that's when Chase had the beat going on, you know, with his hands on the door and on the glass. You know what I'm saying? Just for different effects. But he was doing a boom bap, the boom, 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 bap, boom. And then, you know, everybody would just jump in, you know, behind each other and start rapping. So when he did that, I seen it for real. Like, he would spit the funny stuff before, you know what I'm saying, around me, like, just joking around. But never did I hear, like, a whole full rhyme from him. And this rhyme, particularly, it was called Brothers Ride to John. Something he had written already. Because, you know, we start off with the written, and then later on as it goes, you know, you do the freestyle. You know, the whatever's happening at the moment, you know, you just grasp on that with the freestyle. But the first, like, Brothers Ride to John, I heard it to the beat, and I heard it live, and I was like, yo, like, yeah, he had everybody on high, like, at high at that time, because it was like this big dude, you know what I'm saying, flowing like this, and we all know him from the block, so they didn't expect him around like that. So he was already spitting it, and then he already had his, like, history of hip-hop, you know, within itself, as far as that like, style and delivery, you know what I'm saying? And then he had it with the personality also. That was the first time, and his personality was already there. You know what I'm saying? I still was a little shy with it, so, you know, so I set rhymes, but it's like I was still reading it. It was like, oh, shit, I got to say it now. You know what I'm saying? So it was that kind of feeling with me. And Face was just the professional one that was already inside there, you know, in the as far as in the group and doing shows and shit, that he was already in there. So he gave us the confidence also, you know what I'm saying, to grab that spotlight right there and practice there. And then after that, like I said, it was over after that, because we started writing rhymes together. We started going outside, you know, at block parties and just getting on the mic sometimes, you know, going to strip clubs. I remember we went to a strip club named the Playhouse. That's where we actually started. It was a tournament, and the Furious Fives was hosting the tournament. You know what I'm saying? Melly Mellon, like Scorpio, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Kid Creole and all that. So, we entered this little tournament inside a strip club, and it was like 12, 20 groups, 12 to 15 groups, and it was rounds, different rounds. So, I mean, we got in each triple safe and Big Pun. We entered that little competition, and week after week, it was about a 2-month period of coming back and forth because we kept winning. So we won, and the first prize is actually we get to go to the radio station. At that time, I think it was Hot 97. It was the Furious 5 show that they had going on up there. So we had a slot to go up there and talk about rapping, show our skills on the actual radio. That was the first time we ever went into a radio station and really, spit the lyrics on live. And shout out to, Melly Mel, man, the Furious 5 for giving us the opportunity. But and we won. We actually won. But we only won that. That's the package we won. We actually got to go to the radio and really kick it with them. And that was a privilege in its own because we was big fans of the Furious 5 growing up.
And also, as well, in 1997, yourself and Pun actually made guest appearances on the Beatnuts single Off the Books. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about this phenomenal collaboration. And, of course, how did you guys originally get connected with the Beatnuts?
Oh, man, that's when Pun was doing Capital Punishment. He already was, maybe 3/4 almost done, Capital Punishment. And, Joe got him features. And, his name was ringing already. He had Firewater, and he had other incredible. He had the features in Joe's album. What would you do? You would do the unbelievable with G-Rap. He already had spotlights, and features that he was already hot. So in the middle of him doing the Capital Punishment album, he got the call. I was assigned to Terror Squad yet, even though I knew them and everything in the street, but this is a whole different thing. This is business. And Joe already selected Pun out of our group that he's going to work with Pun. You know what I'm saying? I actually did the introduction in front of the bodega on 166 in Union Avenue. That bodega is right there. One day we was just chilling there. Joe pulled up. I used to know Joe from the baseball field. This is actually Pun's first time really seeing Joe. But Joe, I had heard about this. I didn't know that. Beknownst to me, I knew him from just hanging around Flowers Project. But one day, he pulls up, and I know him. He said, "What's up to me?" You know what I'm saying? When he came in the store, he was by himself. And then he goes inside the store. Me and Pun outside. We was just trying to, we arrived early, before the crew arrived because that's the place. That was our meeting spot. And basically, Pun said, "Yo, tell him to come outside. When he come out, I want to spin around for him." So, I said, "No doubt." I went in there and I asked Joe, "Yo, Joe, can my brother spin around for you?" And he said, "Yeah." And he came out. He spit. You already know I snatched the moon out the sky and blew the sun away. Me and my brothers played hardball, strictly hardcore lyrics till I'm finished breaking God's laws. My job's raw, but I gotta do it. I'm feeling how I booted, so you might get shot and lose a lot of fluid. Spot I blew it at an early age. Ever since the curly waves, I would earn a wage at the 30 gauge. So he spit that around, but you know what I'm saying? The South Bronx is the wrong place to visit in Joe's album. Anyway, from that story, that's me being the link back then, linking people up. So I gotta take credit of it now, but that's a great memory. But as far as the Off the Books, Juju had called, Juju and Les had called Pun to Juju's duplex at the time. He had a little duplex in Corona, Queens with his family. He had his twins at that time. I remember just like it was yesterday. He had his kids there, his wife was there, but he had a duplex. So, upstairs was the studio, and it was a beautiful studio, aside from the family and everything, but it was a space that we had there. So Pun decided to take me because I spent the night in Pun's crib in his house. So while I spent the night, he told me right at the spot, like, "Yo, Drew, I want you to come with me. I'm going to do something with the Beatnuts." And niggas nice. He said, we always loved the Beatnuts from the Reign of the Tech. John Wayne couldn't even say the Reign of the Tech. You know what I'm saying? They was always dope to us. So I didn't want to cause too much, waves because I know Joe picked Pun. And I know Joe wanted just Pun to be going to these places, you know what I'm saying? Because he didn't want nobody to use the brand or him to get on and then, leave them and get their own deals. That's the type of stuff he was on. But we was never on it like that. I went there because Pun told me, "Yo, you come with me," you know what I'm saying? I had the hoopty, too. I was the only guy in the crew at that time, the little hoopty, the little car that I had, you know what I'm saying? That was the Mitsubishi Lana thing I had. And I was just driving them some places when I could, you know what I'm saying? Still scrambling for gas money at the time. That's how deep it goes. So we got to Juju's crib, and then, we went through the selection of picking out the beat. He played like the 3-4 beats. I think it was like 4 beats. And we heard the doo-doo-doo. And we heard Pun, we loved them strange ass beats. We always did, but the beats that sound like nothing else, but it still got that shit we like that rhythm, that hip hop, but it was strange because even at those because Joe used to always tell us, like, y'all pick the strangest beats and stuff. So here we go again. We go there, and then we listen to that beat, and it was like, hell yeah, let's do this. I was like, yo, this nigga Joe was a little crazy, because nigga, that shit was crazy as a motherfucker, but it was crazy. But Pun didn't care. The Juju and Les said, hell yeah, let's do that beat. And I was waiting for Pun just to, you know what I'm saying, do his job and stuff. It was me and Sace actually there. Me, Sace, and Pun went to that session. And Pun out of nowhere, we you know, he selected that beat with the beat nuts. And then he told me, yo, right. And I was like, get the fuck, I ain't writing. What you talking about? Is this for you? It's not for me. Sace is already with his book out, already writing. You know, you didn't have to tell Sace twice. Me, I knew the situation of you know, the Joe between him, the business that's going on. So I'm like, fuck it, you tell me to write, let me write. So then we write in Pun, you know, Love's got a thin line, you know, when we touch moms, together I'm on, it's wrong, but it lasts long. And you know what I'm saying? So he was already on that, and halfway through the thing, he was like, yo, Q, I'm going to end up on Punisher, that's it, all right? So remember this, because we used to always go for the last word when we found with each other. So he was finishing it with that's it. So my whole shit was like, that's it? Like, asking him a question. That was the transition that we made. And he made me, like, he gave me that transition in the beginning, and then from there I took over. Because, you know, I would take a long time to write rhymes, especially on the spot right there. But right there, after that shit, I started flowing Punisher, pass it, Atlantic, snappers, WB, glass to catch, Big Willie, nigga, Billy Badgate. So you already know, from there was nothing but sweet selling. And my, you know, I only got 8 bars in that song. So, you know, I had to, when you get 8 bars on a song, which is half of 16, see, Pun got 16, you see the length that he had, you know what I'm saying? I only got 8, which is half of that. So, in them 8 bars, as the MC, you gotta come with the, you know, you gotta come with that oomph, you know what I'm saying? And then finish it off with something memorable, because that's how you're gonna get known, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I did. You know, like I said, I'm one hell of a guy, fly, pelican, fly. That stuck in people's minds, and that was, you know, a reason why the beat nuts. Because Sace actually went on that song after me. You know, Triple Sace actually got on that song with us. It just was 5. It was the beat nuts, Les and Juju, and then it was Pun, me, and Sace. But Sace, they decided to cut someone off just for the time limit, because at that time it was like, I think it was like 420 the longest, and it was way past that with Sace on it. And that was the excuse that they gave us when it didn't keep Sace. Because we still was doing our full Eclipse thing, you know what I'm saying, when we, in our mind at the time when we was writing. So we would bounce off each other. But Sace killed that verse too. It's just that they didn't keep his verse, so they kept me. And actually, I think they kept me because I went right after Pun, and it was part of it, like his ending of his rhyme. Because when I said that's it, it's like, you know, I'm intertwining with him and going home for him. So that might be a reason. Plus, I destroyed the beat also. Don't get me twisted. I don't want to be too humble with it, because I know I did my job on that beat, and I stood out on that beat. And that's the reason why, you know, after that song off the books, after Flex took it in New York City and made it big, dropping bombs every day on it, you know, we went crazy on that song. And that was actually one of those situations where our strange beat liking went really good. So that gave us confidence that we knew how to pick beats at the end of the day. But that's something that Joe didn't even approve of that beat when he heard it. He was like, it's all right. But then the way Funkmaster Flex, like, got on Hot 97 and he threw the bombs and he represented, and the Beat Nuts, you know, that was their first single. They made a real video to it, and it became bigger than just regular, you know, album cut. And give it, you know, shout out to the Beat Nuts, Juju and Les, man, for adding me there and keeping me there. And of course, my brother for putting me on and giving me the energy to do it. But that was exactly how that whole episode went down for the Off the Books.
And also, just pertaining to that, when you actually say Trip actually got, like, unfortunately cut off the song, is the actual raw, uncut version actually available, actually out there? Because I do know with the internet, sometimes things do tend to kind of slip through the cracks.
Yeah, but not this one. Not this one. I don't think that was. I think that was Relativity Records. So if anybody has the masters, it's definitely Juju and Les and Relativity. Because I never heard the one with Space on it. I mean, we might have had the actual tape. Because remember, back in the days, it was cassette tapes. So we might have had the cassette tape, but forget about that. I don't even know where that would be at. I don't know if Space got. I don't think we actually got a copy. Only Pun had a copy. Because he's the one that was supposed to be on that song. So I think he's the only one who took that copy home, and he had it. So maybe Liza nowadays, if they still have those tapes, they would have it. But I never heard that on the internet, nowhere else. But I remember, Chase killing it. Chase was killing it, because at that time, Chase was fire. To me, he was always fire. But at that time, it was just like I said. They said it was too long, and they had to cut him off. But I remember it was fire. That's all I remember. We killed it in a way where it was still like a team. It's, full of clips, so we would go off each other. So it was Pun, me, then Chase. So it was still that full of clips vibe that we had going on in there. So since there's two of them and two, they kept two of us. They kept me with it. So that had my name bubbling throughout the industry, and that's how I got my deal. And Joe got his Terror Squad deal through that. The same thing with me and Pun, of course, doing his numbers, blowing up, going platinum. And then me with the Off the Books being the next one on Terror Squad, and giving that outlook to the people, and people being interested in me now because I'm actor Pun and they like me. So that brought up my value. Without even signing, I wasn't even signed to Joe at the time. So I kind of, my whole thing was about me and Pun's whole thing about that was trying to impress Joe so he could sign us. He only wanted Pun, and he took Pun in the beginning. So Pun was deliberately doing things like that so he could show Joe our talent. And he didn't believe too much. But we made him believe it, and of course, that's when the business came in. But that was it. That was it, definitely. But I don't know if it's a copy laying around anywhere in the world with that, because I haven't heard it yet.
And also as well, I actually dug in the crates actually for this question. My goal is to always try and find a question that that an artist has never been asked before. So I'm hoping that this is actually the one for you, Cuban. But in 1998, yourself, Pun, and Fat Joe were actually featured on NWA's Straight Outta Compton 10th anniversary tribute on the song Quiet on the Set. From what you can recall, can you actually tell us the story behind this record? And of course, what was it like putting your guys' East Coast boom bap sound on a West Coast record?
Okay, you want to hear that story, huh? You want to hear the truth, or you want to hear the politically correct, everything? But I can only give it to you the Cuban link way.
I gotta say, whatever way you want to deliver it, man. You are the individual. You're the one answering the question, so I'll let you do it your way.
Okay, without even thinking too much of the. I remember that moment specifically, you know what I'm saying? Because I was the only fan of the NWA. Like me, I was really, really obsessed with NWA when they first came out, through all the albums, you know what I'm saying? The niggas with attitude, every album, you know what I'm saying? So I knew the song back and forth. That was MC Ren's song, you know what I'm saying? On, if I'm not mistaken, Niggas for Life, was it? No, Niggas for Life was the second one. That was actually the first NWA album. The nigga, I love that song. MC Ren was one of my favorites also. It was Ice Cube and MC Ren that I really was rocking with at the time. So that song was up my alley, and like Joe knew that. Like Joe wasn't a big NWA fan. Like he would keep that in the NWCB in his car and stuff. And Pun wasn't too much into NWA like that, but I was. You know what I'm saying? So when they came, it was actually a compilation. And I forgot the record. I think it was Ruthless Records. And I think they was doing the 20-year anniversary or something. And they came across that Joe. Remember, Joe used to get all the deals. So they came and approached Joe to if he wanted to be part of this. So, the paper was there. Money was getting paid, but not for me. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I was still paying dues. You know what I'm saying? I did a lot of things like this where it's like I was at it. Even to the Ricky Martin song that y'all probably heard on the low, that I didn't get paid for. I was just part of it because, they needed the extra. Like, Joe was too lazy to write, the whole 16. Me in my head, I'm thinking still, yo, damn, he's sharing, he's breaking bread with me. Which he was at the end of the day, even though his attitude was like he didn't, lazy, like he didn't want to do the whole shit. So he was split 8 bars with me, 16 bars with me. Somebody needed the extra, man. So at that time, they didn't, like we spit our lyrics to the original song, the beat that Ren used in the album, the album cut beat. So it was actually, to me, it was actually better with the album, the original album. Then when they recorded our lyrics, they, like when I heard it the next time, which probably was like 2 months later, and I heard the new beat that they added. I didn't know that. and it was a different vibe. It was a different beat because it wasn't the same as the, you know, the original Ren joint, you know, that he did that with. So to me, it was always mediocre because I know I killed that. Like I knew like how to fucking do MC Ren. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was something that I did by myself on my own, like listening to his lyrics, and I knew that song back and forth. So I had to be the one telling the guys like Pun and Joe what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? And how to say it a little bit with it. But they caught it too. So they killed it too with the flow and everything. Pun killed it. You know what I'm saying? And Joe killed it. And I killed it. And we was rolling with that beat because, like I told you, it was the original beat with that dun, 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 dun. We took the original actual track and we did it. That's how it was presented to us. But then the other one, when I heard it, it was a little laid back, because me as an artist, like now I even notice it more. Like, you know, when I rock to a beat, it's me giving that beat that love of me loving that beat, that connection where, you know, the MC or the artist gets to that rhythm of that beat. So when you take that away and you put it to another one, especially if it's not the same kind of vibration to it or the same melody to it, it sounds awkward. Not for the fans, just for artists. You know what I'm saying? And I always recognize that in that song. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely a question that nobody ever asked me. Definitely. So salute to MC Ren, and salute to the whole, you know, that whole project. And that was done, I think, and hit what's it, Sound? I forgot the studio name, but definitely it was in Manhattan. And maybe it was Sony. But we laid them vocals down, and you know, it was like, to me, it was a privilege. It was an honor. It was something bigger than I know what my guys thought. I know what, you know, at the time. You know, my brother Pun was like, okay, this is just another job. You know, it's another check, whatever. And you know, he did what he did. And then Joe was like, he wasn't even into it too much. It was like another check for him. To me, it was like I tried to make it as perfect as I could to represent and to let the artist, which was MC Ren, if he heard it, be like, yo, them niggas killed that. That's just my intentions when I did that song. But I was a little disappointed, I ain't gonna lie, at the end when I heard that other beat attached to it that didn't have the same rhythm. You know what I'm saying? So if I would have did it on that beat, like if we would have did it on that beat that they remixed it with, I think it would have came out better than actually just taking the original beat, doing it to that beat, and then taking our vocals and putting it into the beat that they chose. Because it was just a different feel to me. But that's just my opinion. That's why I said, did you want to hear my raw cut and my real opinion on this? Because that's just me as an MC, as an artist, giving you the, you know, the feeling I had and how actually it was done.
I gotta say, man, as a fan, I thoroughly enjoyed that actual song. I really like how they gave you guys the opportunity to close out that record as well by putting you guys at the last song. Sometimes individuals think that, in my opinion, sometimes individuals think, you know, like being the last song is bad, but honestly, I thoroughly listen to a whole album, and it's always the closer to me that actually makes the record, in my honest opinion.
And at that time, you are exactly right. All the albums back in the day, the closers, the two to the head from, you know, G-Rap and the grand finale, the album, you know, it was the closers were always fire to me also. So, I mean, like I said, I appreciate the whole thing, but I just wish that I could have got my vision. And that's the whole thing with me. Like, so many visions that I had about certain projects that didn't come out, like, you know, I'm picky. I'm a very picky. I criticize myself to the T and to the extra. You know what I'm saying? And that's just my process. But like I said, if somebody had the original joint, which I know they have, like Ruthless Records might have it, somebody who have a partnership with them have it, you're gonna see what I'm talking about. And it's just like we flew, like it was a whole different feel to it because maybe I was stuck on the MC Ren original joint, that beat, the way it used to bounce. And that was a strange beat also. We would the don't. It was just that bounce that I loved about it, the way, you know what I'm saying, the lyrics that, you know, MC Ren had. And like you said, you know what I'm saying, like we kept his lyrics and we just added a little here and there. We was trying to honor him, you know what I'm saying, honor the whole NWA movement. So it was a great experience though, you know what I'm saying. And like I said, I wasn't supposed to be on that record, but since my career was, you know, had some fire behind it because I had the Off the Books, I had the one with Veronica, that I did. So my underground appeal was coming up, you know, also while Pun was working on his Capital Punishment. So they was checking for Cuban Link here and there. So they didn't really mind getting a Cuban Link, you know what I'm saying? And that's how the Terror Squad really started forming when I became the third man. And then Joe put the whole Terror Squad stamp on, okay, this is the Terror Squad. And after me, of course, you know, you got the Spaces, and you got the Prospects, the Sunshine, and everybody else, you know what I'm saying? But that was the process of Joe's, like, stamping that Terror Squad is coming up next after Pun.
And also, as well, in the year 2000, you actually began work on your debut LP titled 24K that ultimately never officially got released due to it being leaked. I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about that. And then did you guys ever find out who, unfortunately, leaked that project? Because I got to say, man, if that project didn't get leaked and actually came out the way it was supposed to, I got to say that would definitely be the album of the decade, in my honest opinion.
Oh, man, thank you, man. I'm glad and I'm happy that you feel that way. And that was my rookie album, so I was nervous as hell. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm not sure on this, because, you know, I was in a, you know, like Pun already went platinum. We got Joe that he went gold after Pun. So my expectancy was to really be, you know what I'm saying, the more or equate to them. So I didn't have that type of energy because I'm saying as far as like, you know, the patent in the back. I mean, Pun was there, but as soon as Pun did Capital Punishment, like they already wanted him, you know, besides shows and tours he was doing, they wanted him to do the Yeah Baby album, and he was busy. I understood that. That's my brother, and you know, he would listen to some of my songs that I would send him. He'd be like, "Yo, this shit's crazy." So he gave me that much. Joe was actually getting paid from me to be my manager, and at the time, you know, he was also a label owner, you know, the label owner, Terror Squad Records, which I was under him and Atlantic Records. But, you know, that was really my first project, you know, 24 Karat. So I was never a dolo artist. I was never a solo artist. I was always a team player. I was always part of a team, you know, full of Eclipse, you know, Rough and Rugged. We got, you know what I'm saying, and then, of course, the Terror Squad. So I was thrown in that whole thing of teamwork. And actually, we did the Terror Squad album before I did. I mean, during what I was doing my 24K. So Joe wanted to work on that album because he had a whole deal with Atlantic Records that he got the Terror Squad deal from, that they gave him $10 million. And while that was happening, I was doing it for Atlantic. I was working on mine. But it's not like they all came to my studio and helped me out with shit like I did with them. So I was really pretty much myself. So I'm second-guessing myself. At the same time, I know they hot. I know I gave some great material. I know, you know, there's some songs that definitely are timeless to me in there. The Hey Mamas, the Still Telling Lies, you know, the one with Pink, that was a crazy joint. So to come back and hear the response from like Craig Commons, which was the CEO from Atlantic Records, that you know, that gave me the deal, to be like kind of not like feeling the songs to a certain point between him and Joe. Questioning my the value or the hotness of the album or the songs I was making and everything, kind of got me questioning, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things. And then of course, you know, when it never dropped because of situations that happened, as far as like you know, the infrastructure of me and Joe, you know, with the problems, and then him being the middleman between me and Craig Common, which, like I said, he's the one that approves it, and then, you know, you get the budget for the thing. So after I did the Flowers for the Dead, I did Still Telling Lies, the singles that came off the 24K album. I was setting it up. So after that stopped and you know, it broke apart, then it gets leaked. So then, I mean, right now, you ask me that question as far as, like, do you know who leaked it or whatever? To me, I tell you, definitely you have to be Scott Just. And I think he profited over this. And I think, you know, the reason I say that is not because I'm, hey, you know, I feel any towards way. I'm saying for business reason and who had control of my records. You know, it was only Atlantic Records, which was Craig Common and them, and that's a company that would not gain anything from that unless, you know what I'm saying, somebody from the A&R department took it and put it out there on their own and did some fun shit with it. And that, in that case, you know, we all probably stomped them out and found out who did it. So we had a reputation, especially Fat Joe. We had a reputation, the whole Terror Squad, to beat up bootleggers. if they sold our stuff, or anybody we knew, any friends of ours that got, you know what I'm saying? We've done that. Like, so we knew, I know how we stood against the bootleggers at that time. We don't let nobody bootleg our stuff. So for my record to be bootlegged the way it was bootlegged, which was it was a catch-22 for me. Because if it didn't come out, you probably wouldn't even respect my craft the way I would do, because I heard it. But the way it came out, and nobody, there was no consequences, repercussions behind it, where people was getting beat up, and you know what I'm saying? Because it's still property of Joe and Atlantic Records still, because they have. So for that to be bootlegged that much, I would have to say it was definitely an inside job. And I don't think that within Joe's group, a group of people that I came up with, as far as the Terror Squad, and Joe being the leader of that, Joe would have let that happen if he wasn't getting a dollar from it. And that's just my honest, true answer of that riddle right there. Who leaked the 24K album? But like I said, it was a catch-22, so I cannot be mad. And I believe in great energy and positive, and in God, that he always had my back, even when I thought I took an L. I really took a win. And even when those that try to do bad stuff, it's still, it was a more positive side than a negative. So at the end of the day, yeah, but if you ask me, Cuban Link Felix, that question as a person, and a person that knows the infrastructure of that, I would have to say that, Joe had definitely something to do with leaking that out.
And I gotta say as well, when you actually brought up Pink a few moments ago as well, I gotta say that was probably one of the most unique songs off that project. And Pink is also known to actually do a lot of work with hip-hop artists as well, because around the same time, she was featured on Naughty by Nature's album as well. I gotta ask, what was it like just being in the studio with Pink and just collaborating with her?
Oh, man, it was a beautiful time, beautiful energy. Let me tell you a story about that one. That's Pink. And, not just the fact that she rhymes with Lincoln Pink, it was dope. And, actually my man, Footprint, he was a dancer. He danced for Janet Jackson. He was doing the background choreography for a lot of people. He passed away, but he was definitely the reason why me and Pink got to really do that record. He would be in them circles, them high pop stars that had those kind of, choreography as far as dancing. He was part of the whole, circuit. And me, underground coming up, of course, Pun already, platinum and all that. I'm working on my album. He made that connection. She was, actually, I remember Pink when she was R&B. She came out with that single. Remember the single with the car, the Corvette that she was driving? And she was into the R&B more than the actual pop, rock that she's in now. But she was part of that. You know what I'm saying? The rhythm and blues and with the hip hop, blending it together, like you said. She did it with, with Naughty by Nature. So he brought it to the, I talked to her on the phone. He put her on the phone, and I was like, hey, how you doing, man? So whatever. It'd be dope if you come through. So I invited her to the studio. Actually, Street Light, what's the name of the studio, is next to Daddy's house on 44th Street, between 8th and 9th. So same building. Instead of going to the right, you go to the left, though. That's all it was. So I was on the opposite side of the building, the Daddy house, Puffy studio was at, where, I'd spend many times also over there with Boyz II Men, Carl Thomas, and, Loom. So it was a great relationship to be there anyway. So she comes to the studio, and she's a young, petite girl at the time. I didn't know she was that short. She's got to be like 4'10", 4'9". I didn't know that, right? She's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young, lady. And what got me about her, though, it was her energy. You wouldn't put Pink. Like, at that time, Pink was like, she's always been a little tough one. But she had the attitude, you know what I'm saying? And she was from the heart. She was from the gut. She was from the moment. You understand? Pink was that one that can make a hit right there on the spot. That's what we did. I played her a beat, and I started. No, actually, my bad. I already had that hook ready for her. That's what it was. Had the hook. I always been that dude. Already had. With the R&B singers, I write everything for it. So I had the hook ready for it. Pink, thank you, and then with that rhythm. And I got that actual rhythm from the Mask. When he did the Cuban Pete, my name is Cuban Pete. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that was the resemblance to it. and that was what I got it. I did the metaphor of that, a Cuban Pete, and you know, I put those words in like that, and those lyrics together, and then she went, and she loved the lyrics, she loved the song, she loved the rhythm, she loved the fact that, you know, the Spanish hip hop, you know, pop from her R&B background, like she loved everything about it, so she got in that booth. And of course, we had to lower the mic real low, because she was a little, like I said, she was a little petite young girl at the time, and she killed that shit in about 3 tries. 3 tries. She did the main lead, killed it. First time hearing it, I mean, really seeing it, because I gave it to her on the spot. I already had it ready, but she had to learn it. But she bodied it 3 tries, and then of course she started decorating and everything. But besides that, right after she finished, because everything was finished, we got, you know, Cuban Link at that time was Hennessy Man. Hennessy, Jägermeister for the engineer, you know, carton of cigarettes, Newports. So the shit was always there. So we was happy, we celebrating. I'm giving him shots, we taking shots. And at the time, you already know me. At the time, okay, let's take a shot. Wow, first shot. 5 minutes later, let's do another thing. So I was really the first drink champ. It was me. You know, I was the real creator of that one when you came to my session. Cause, you know, and we was happy because she finished the song, she killed it. And we thought it was great. Shit, who the fuck had Pink like that? And it could be a single because it's so commercial. And then, you know, you got the element of salsa with the hip hop, and then you got the, you know, the element of the white girl that's R&B and also rock. We got all those elements together, and just the energy between me and her was dope. You know what I'm saying? As people, and how we bonded. So I just kept on giving her shots. About the 4th shot, she fucking passes out in the studio, and I have to call the ambulance, and they have to come pick them in a fucking ambulance in my fucking studio. So that was it. Cuban Link, I think, twisted that bad that yeah, she had to go with an ambulance to the doctor and find out what the hell going on. So I apologized to Pink. After that, we kept, you know, contact, and it was cool. But yeah, that was the first time me and the Link and the Pink got together and did, you know, Play How You Want. That was in the song.
And I gotta say, I bet you Pink realized after that Cubans can drink.
Yeah. And then it was just that setting at that time. You know, we stayed off the hood, the corners, drinking 40s and passing fucking Uzis together. You know, Uzis is the blunts when you roll them up, two Phillies and one blunt. And we was ODing and shit like that. It was natural to us. Now that, you know, I was an alcoholic, or now that I was a weed head, a pothead, and nothing. It was just what the social scene at the time that we came up from about. That was the ambience that I kept around me also. So it was nothing. It was more like a competition. I was like, I'm getting too drunk, man. You know, it was more of that. It wasn't like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? But she kind of challenged me and said that she could fuck with me in that. So that's another reason why I started doing the fast in the beginning, like, okay, every 5 minutes, every 3 minutes, and, you know, I kept it doing like that. After a while, after the 4th shot, you know, you got to slow down. And now it's like, okay, let's relax now, you know what I'm saying? And then you get, you know, they take a little puff of that weed, and then that weed brings it down, and then you all fucking twisted at the end of the day, you took that last shot. So that's what happened. She was doing the both with me at the time. You know what I'm saying? She was taking a little weed, she was doing a little shot, and that shit just hit her one time, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, you had to take a little trip. To the infirmary, maybe. But I felt bad about that. I felt bad about that. It was like, you know, damn, man, fucking I'm shit already. Like, you know what I'm saying? Damn. You know what I'm saying? But she was, you know, she's a great sport, and she, you know, she contacted me. I made sure that we contacted each other that night. She came out good. She went back to her thing, and she, you know, and we got back together like later on in life. After that, she invited me to some shows. I went with her, and so we had a great time. Salute to Pink. I ain't seen her in a minute, in a long time, but I love that girl and always will, and I appreciate her.
And also, as well, jumping ahead of the timeline a little bit, in 2005, you actually joined the independent music label Men of Business, where you actually signed a deal worth $2 million that was actually considered the largest independent deal ever within the music industry. I was wondering if you can actually tell us a bit more about that story. And of course, man, like, how did that deal come to be for you? Because $2 million on a independent label is absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, and it was great. It was based out of Connecticut. Some dudes that actually Artie Pabon, he's still in the music industry. He's doing backfield work. He wanted to launch a record label, I actually named it Men of Business from a song actually I had on 24 Karat Gold. 24 Carats, the album, I had a song called M.O.B, which was Men of Business. And that was the cipher that featured Nori, Coogee Rap, Lord Tariq, M.O.P, and myself. So that was a crazy cipher, too, for 24K. And that's, actually, I took that name, and I always wanted to, make a label of my own. That was always a name that stood out. So I was in the process of me being an independent. The labels were too keen of me being, an artist under the establishment because the problems with Joe. So I had to go outside of the box and make it happen. So I got they was interested in me from my name, of course, at the time, and my album get pushed back, all of that. Resistant and all that. They still believed in me as far as a writer and MC, and they put their money behind me, man. Artie, along with Gene, my man Gene out there from actually, or you're in Canada. I don't know if they got Bob's Furniture Store out there, but Bob's is the big furniture chain store out here in the States, and actually it was their backing that I had when I was at M.O.B. But Artie was the point man. I'm saying he was the one that was actually making the deals, and as you can see in that album, I had that good fire, and as far as like the features I had some great big features that that money was spent on. So don't think that these features were ever free, and that's the reason why the budget went up there, and everything. But my signing bonus actually to that was $200,000, which is great to me. I was fine with that. And, and it was great as far as, like, the love that I was getting and the backup. But remember, it was still an independent company that was coming from outside in. And if you're that type of person, that type of entity or company, and you're trying to fit in somewhere and try to get accepted by the main boys, which is the Epic Records, Atlantic Records, the big boys, those people inside, the A&Rs, the CEOs of companies, those guys that represent them, they're going to make you pay like you weigh because they know that you want to be part of them. You want to be like them. And plus, you got a nigga like Cuban, a rapper that nobody wants it because, this nigga Fat Joe had more props and more power in me in there, so I was going against the odds. So the money actually was to really, to get into the platforms that they have, get into their scenery, get into their venues, get into their faces, and politics, and show who we are to them and our product. But it was in a price where you got that love from the industry, and you are you are accepted by them. It was the price of they making you pay triple now because you got me and your niggas is new. Y'all don't know the game. Oh, we gonna do that. We gonna make you pay like you wait. So the budget really, it was done. I had posters also, so it's not a complaint at all or saying that M.O.B didn't do, but they did everything in their power with the money part, not the connections, but the money part. Because the money part got the connections also. It got me Maya. It got me even Jada Kids. It got me some heavyweights, Don Omar. So that was star-studded when it came to the features. And that was one of the reasons, because the money was getting thrown around at the time. And I let everybody eat, all the people that was in my album, and that album actually, Chain Reaction, they ate off the Cuban stuff, So I paid my dues because I had to okay it. Regardless if Artie was doing the deal. I didn't know the numbers that was charging them, but if I say, I want Maya to get on this, Artie would get on his horse and go out there and make sure he get Maya, no matter the cost. Because he knew the objective, and he believed. So it was that type of, scenario. But then the problems came. Like I said, they made him pay that way to the distribution part, the actual, getting into the MTV stages, to the BET stages, because of the relationships and the separation between me and Joe. And his relationships with people and their minds coming into the game. So a lot of things, like me performing in Summer Jam, I was stopped because of relationships. So a lot of things was also stopped. The money couldn't buy certain things. And all I wanted to do, and M.O.B wanted to do, is put me in a platform where I could show off my talent. And the same as, platform that I belonged in as the rest of the big boys that, they got the chance to do, and perform in the stages. They wanted me to have the same type of scenario. and that was where the money really went into. But the album was definitely a big budget, and they definitely they spared no expense into making putting everything behind me where it should have been, you know what I'm saying, a takeoff, you know. But it's just that the actual radio play, those infrastructures where, you know, Joe had more power, you know, the situation was there with the beef, and it was all of that played a part into that the album not getting as marketed as it should have to the public, and that was a problem. But shout out to M.O.B. and nothing but love for them, respect, and to this day, I can't talk bad about him and will never do it. Not my style, but I will tell the truth. We did, you know, it was the outsiders coming in the inside, and all the inside was together as a team. We came in as, you know, not vigilantes, but we came dolo manolo with an objective to do and treat people with respect and give them the money they deserve to be part of what we had going, which was M.O.B. Records. And that's it, man. That's M.O.B. for you. But nothing but love and respect for me.
And I gotta say, on Chain Reaction, man, you also had two phenomenal producers that actually put the pieces to that album together, man. Swizz Beatz and Mr. Porter at D12, man. I gotta say, such a phenomenal production team.
Yes, sir. And they made me play too. Don't get it twisted. And even though I knew Swizz, I knew Jada and all that love, but, you know, oh, man, before hanging out, you know, seeing each other everywhere, giving each other love. Yeah, Swizz Beatz gave us a little deal. At the time, I remember it was Swizz Beatz. That's when he started really, really going crazy with his beats, and he took over that little era right there. It was a little era where Swizz Beatz was the man, and he was even more bigger than Dre at the time right there. In this little split second in 2005, you know, Swizz had that crazy buzz. So he gave me what was it? He gave me 4 beats for $75,000. So, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Swizz. But, you know, like I said, it's business. And I don't mind, you know, giving love, and if I have a budget, they're supposed to eat. And I want them to eat because they deserve it. Even Jada, my dude, from Yonkers, like, from the streets of Yonkers, you know, we used to hang out, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Know people that know each other for years. And I remember telling him, yo, my G, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming up, I'm doing my independent. That's when I was frontlining. The only thing that I had to say about M.O.B. Records, that I asked them, let me frontline this. And not because I want the fame, I want to be known as the CEO, because I know the game. Like, I warned parties, I warned all of them that, listen, they're going to tell you one thing and they're going to tell me another. You know, they know me. I got a relationship with them. If you go, they're going to treat you like a stranger, and they're going to hit you over the head. And at the end of the day, I'm the one that got to pay back the budget. So, you know what I'm saying? They didn't take that advice from me. And, you know, it went the way it went. So, from Jada Kids, let me give you an example. Me and Jada Kids talked, called him in the hood, we chilling, talking. That's my dude. Even from John Blaze back then, before that, you know what I'm saying? We know each other. We know people that know each other. Then we got together, and that's my dude. Like, I told him, I'm, you know, coming with an independent project, my G, you know what I'm saying, how much you want to charge me? I know you want to show me love. He said, I got you, my G. I said, I told you 10 G's. I told him. I said, I told you 10. And at that time, that's when he had, why? You know what I'm saying? He had that hit song. He went platinum the first time. So he told me to my face this. He said, you got 10 Q? I got you, my nigga. And he would have did it probably for free on the love. But I said, you know, I got 10 for you. That's how I'm going to come. You know what I'm saying? I don't want, I'm an artist. You know, with the same respect I go to you, I expect the same respect back. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you could do it back. But I need your talent on it. I got this for you. Can you do it for me? He said, no problem. By the end of the day, Artie started handling the back, you know what I'm saying, the back business with him without me, and that $10,000 became $60,000. You understand? So that's another proof of why I'm telling Artie and the M.O.B. guys, why should I be paying front, so I could minimize the fucking expenses in his budget, because I know at the end of the day I'm responsible for it, though you're handling the money, just like Joe, when he had, he got me the deal. He was handling the budget. You know what I'm saying? So it's another case where, even though I know he did it for great, you know, he wanted just to make things happen as far as Artie. He wanted just to make it happen, and whatever, you know, to transpire. But do you see the difference from a 10 to a 50,000 rise just because you don't deal with me and you won't let me take care of it so I can do this? You know, it's for me and us, because I'm a team player. So he decided to do things like that through the whole thing. you know, like managed the project, the whole thing. And you know, he was capable of, but he was speaking more with the money than with the relationship, so they made him pay. And when I wasn't around to actually make somebody like stick to their word, you know what I'm saying, that money covered it up because, you know what I'm saying, I already would give it to them. But like I said, Swiss Beats, monster at the time. Jada Kid's monster. My guy from, you know, from Detroit, monster. They did Tonight's the Night. My nigga. That's the first time actually I met Eminem in the studio. And I was over there. Exactly. I went to recut. I did the verse, but I went to recut it over there. I went to Detroit. I went to the studio over there, D12 studio. Eminem stopped by, showed his love. You know what I'm saying? And he seen me record that shit and he gave us love, man. But we already had that rep in there that we had the money too. You know what I'm saying? So, and regardless, Eminem, not to say that about Eminem, Eminem is from the ground up too. He's from the sewers. You know what I'm saying? I've seen him come up, you know what I'm saying, and doing little spot shows and everything, trying to, you know, with his book back on, killing stages, and, you know, before Dre. So I've seen his hard work and everything. So I appreciate the fact he stopped by, man, and, you know what I'm saying, he showed that love, you know, and you know, he showed me that MC love. They told me in my city, Pod, keep doing this shit, my nigga. But he knew the situation between, you know, the backfield, because he was going through it too. You know, that's the time I was with Jai and all that shit. So, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things going on. But it was a beautiful experience also with the M.O.B, man. Swiss Beats, he gave me, like I said, regardless, even though I had to pay $75 for 4, he gave me the break. I think, you know, I think it was 4 for, I mean, his price at that time was like, I think, 100 G for one track. So we looked at it like, yeah, that's love. That's love. And if he wanted to charge me that, that's Swiss Beat. Got all the merit in the work behind him and in front of him that he could do that. He got in his position to do that. And that's still a deal, you know what I'm saying, to me at the time. So we gave it to him, and he gave us 4 of his eyes beats. I picked them all out. Crazy shit. The one with me and Jada that we did Talk About It. You know, he did the one with me and Avant on it. She's Coming Home With Me. He did the Shakedown. There's the Shakedown. Matter of fact, I think he did 7. I think, was it 75 for 100? I mean, 3 for 100 or 4 for? Because I know I used all of them. Those are Swiss Beats. You know I touched all of them. So I think it was 3 for 75 or 3 for 100. I think 3 for 100. Let me recap. You know, let me revamp my statement. 3 for 100. So I know I did all 3 of them, which was Shakedown, Talk About It with Jada, and She's Coming Home With Me with Avant. So those 3. So and then Tonight's the Night with D. I'm out there from D12. Dope shit, dope records, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them records.
And also, fast forwarding to this month of 2022, July 15th to be exact, you actually released the amazing song titled "Angels Cry." I was wondering if you can actually tell our listeners a bit more about this song, and of course, where can we actually buy or stream ourselves a copy of this phenomenal single today? Sorry.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I did. This actually so I'm actually a feature on this song, and this is a song that my man Fearless Wolf, an upcoming rapper. You know, we actually did another song called Legends Never Die. So we did a couple of cuts together. This was the latest one that he did. He's just on that positive conscious level. You know, he's that type of MC. He's the type of MC that I try to do my, you know, Bet Your Man Can't Do Me, do it like that type of vibe, like my little pimpish, you know what I'm saying, swift rap, talking about girls. That he would say no to a song like that because he's just not about that as far as the MC, and I respect that so much. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying, like certain songs ain't you know, other people's vibes, maybe like Most Def or Common Sense, you know what I'm saying, Common, wouldn't get on certain songs because of their message. So I respect that. He's that type of MC, the conscious guy, dope lyricist, very musically inclined. You know, so it's definitely a song that I think it's powerful. It's a powerful song. I chose to go on the more of living through the animals, you know, the zoo. You know what I'm saying? Which I named all the animals in the fucking world that you could in that song to make a message, you know what I'm saying? And to actually just give the picture of my upbringings, which was the concrete jungle, you know, which was the Bronx, in my case, which there's a lot of concrete jungles out here in the world, you know, for different parts, but the concrete jungle where I come from, this is how, the movements are. And I was just trying to describe the concrete jungle, let them know the pain, let them know the way they move, let them know the animalistic characteristics that they all have, and to make that metaphor, connect. You know what I'm saying? As far as all the animals, which I even said it. From the dogs to the wild dogs to the pigs, to the llamas. To the run loose as a goose. So it was just my whole architecture of just me being MC and seeing that picture, that vision to hit that verse, hit that song with that verse. So shout out to Phyllis Wolf, man. But that song is definitely out there. You can top that in any social podium right now. From Spotify to iTunes to YouTube. I mean, it's out there. And that's the thing too. All social media platforms. This song is, if it's not there now, it's definitely on its way to being up there. And I'm doing it dolo, independently, and I'm working with each artist that I just told you, Phyllis Wolf, and I'm also, featured on a song with Chromatic, a nice little fucking banger, a summer banger called Back to the Wall. That one, you can see the Cuban Link progress. The adaptation, me adapting to the new era with the flow, me bringing my own shit to the new flow, and me saying still things from the heart, from the mind, and the soul. So, like I said, man, I'm still a student. I'm still a student to the game. I love, going outside the box and thinking of new things. I love being thinking of, being stubborn enough to keep my ideas in the way I think, and I put it in my rhymes and my artistic form. And, I learned that that's the way it has to be for Cuban Link, because every time that I put my career in somebody else's hands, it didn't work out for whatever the reason. But I know that I even spoke out in certain things, certain times where I knew that it was a wrong choice they were making about my career, and they didn't listen, and I had to pay consequences for it. So this time, like I said, COK came to Cuban Link. It's his own entity, taking it back to the Ricky Ricardo, Desi Arnaz way, from filming it to being my own band leader, to having my own band, to owning my own network, and putting everything out the way that I fit, the way I see fit, the way the Cuban Link is meant to be heard, seen, understood. And that's my whole movement right now. That's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it.
And I got to say as well, when you actually mentioned growth a few moments ago, one of the songs that I actually have locked and loaded and ready to be played immediately following this broadcast is actually one of my favorite songs, man, and it's relatively new as well. It's Open Book.
Oh man, yeah. That's another jewel. I love that. That was actually in the archives since that was like 2014. That's how far back I had it. And, life takes, like I said, right now, like I see the vision, I can see the energy. I feel it. I know how to do it. I know the process. I'm ready to take on that process. Back then, it was like me just knocking out songs, keeping them in the archives and the shelves, and put them out with no backing, with no force behind them. Not even going to these social platforms and making them a part of that, because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't want to learn. But that's what the growth is when it comes to the business side of me. Everything is under my name. It's going through the channels that I put out, which is all social medias. And, slowly but surely we get into where we need to go. But, Open Book is definitely a gem that I would love to revisit. Redo the whole thing, redo the mix, redo the video. Put it on, it's a jewel. It's a jewel for the youth. It's my life story. That's why it's called Open Book. It's teaching. It's the message. It's lyrical wordplay. It's my love for hip hop. It's my love for the fans. My gratitude to the fans. My humble beginnings all the way to to what hip hop has done for me. So and I also have another song in this coming up project, which is called The Missing Link. I have a song called Hip Hop Is All I Know, which is like it piggybacks off the Open Book. It's not as personal, but it's that gratitude back to hip hop. With that commercial more appeal to it. Even though Open Book is its own original scale. That has its own original. Actually, my one of my friends' niece at the time, she was 15. She did that beat. She made that beat right there in the piano. That's how crazy it is. So that's why the inspiration for that is for the youth. It's for the, because artists such as myself, I get into all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's deep like that, where, the inspiration comes from that. The point of view of me talking comes from that. And she spoke with her piano. I spoke with my words, my lyrics, and the mesh of them both together. To me, is incredible. It's just I would love to have get the mix back again and really, cause like I said, I'm picky, so the sound is very, very. I have to really get what my ear is telling me to do. I really need to get it done or beyond that mix and the master. It's most of my songs that I've done or I put out in the past, they had some audio problems always to me in my head. Maybe not to y'all. You guys understand it and all that, but to me I do. And that's just something that we're fixing here this time around, the Missing Link album. So definitely Open Book, one of my favorites. So right now, that came out actually, not sure, but I think it's 2014, something like that?
I believe so, yeah, 2014 around there.
No, 2017, 17 or something like that, right? 16 something. Anyway, it was that. It's just that, and it came out of left field, without no, like I said, no power behind it. No marketing plans behind it, no push, no radio, no nothing. So that's the way it has been done in the past. But since, a year and a half ago, that all's going to change because organization has to take place. And that's all it is. It's about organization and the balance and really putting your, wear that one hat at one time instead of trying to wear all of them at once. So basically just organization and, getting this foundation that I built from back in the days with them little bricks and rocks. I was part of building with, with my brother, Pun, and I was even with Fat Joe, I know I was a bricklayer there, and I put that foundation together with him, even though we separated, regardless of what the odds were, the hate, or whatever you want to call it, blackball, it doesn't matter. It doesn't stop the spirit of music. It doesn't stop the love I have for the music. It doesn't stop me from making and creating this music. So those that want to hear it and those that should hear it, which I feel is the world, should, be entitled to hear it as, fairly as the next guy that's on, with a bigger company or whatever, without the hate, without anything. Just to show skills, because that's what hip-hop has always been. It's about skills, it's about dope shit, originality. It's about everything,
And before we wrap things up, man, I just want to ask, man, what is next for yourself? Because I do know that you mentioned throughout the interview you have a brand new record that you're working on. I remember you started off the interview just talking about how you were through your old neighborhoods today, putting pieces together. I was wondering, man, aside from the album, is there anything else you still want to talk about or promote? We still got you here live on the FM dial.
Well, you already know. It's this time where it's time for when every one of us get this time. When you go through life, you get to a point of your life that you look back, you assess what you've done, either you're proud or you're not proud, either you love or you want to leave it behind you, whether we want to keep it and reimburse it and show, I'm that artist that I have to prove a point, not to prove a point because I'm stubborn and I'm just I'm just whack and I just keep trying to do the same thing, beating an old dead horse. No, it's a story that's inspiring to me because it inspired me. Me being in the hip-hop game inspired me. And I know that my story, from beginning to end, from the boat, from me being born in Cuba, taking that boat over to Miami, 90 miles of swimming, going to, Puerto Rico for 4 years, my family, 9 years old, hit the Bronx with the burnt buildings and the breakdance and the beatbox. And me learning hip hop, me learning English with black folk that love me, that used to take me outside without me even knowing English, just because they had the love, and that was the unity of hip hop, the culture of the New York at that time, and that blend, got me closer where I lived it. Just me talking it or me, just making it because I'm good at it. I lived this, so like I said, it's an open book. So I haven't written the book yet. So I'm at that point in my life where the book has to come out. Show not the story of just the drama. That missing missing episodes that I didn't get from Cuban Link because of, all the drama that was going on, and I only got that side. Talking about the details of that journey in a boat. You know what I'm saying? From a communist place to a place where there's freedom, and that individual uses all the resources that freedom and America has to offer, goes through that. And, that American dream of me and another friend of mine that were regular people, and we started off with a bonded friend, my friend, that I chose to become friends because of just who we are, becomes one of the top Latinos ever to touch that mic and go triple platinum and make, run the numbers and almost wins Grammys and hit that level and takes me along with him. He believes in me. And then I go and I represent, and the energy I put out and the craft and my artistry that I put out is respected and loved also, in a different way, because I didn't get that fair shot at the end because of the problem. But that's when the drama comes in, and then that drama becomes to me now. Through all those things that I went through, all those little journeys, little situations that made this big situation and the whole grand theme of things, which is a beautiful story. Even with the negative, the bad, the good, the ugly. Instead of me getting that shot to be famous, it turned into me becoming infamous. Which is only the I am-ness in front of famous. It's infamous. In my case, not. It's infamy from a point of being forced on me. You know what I'm saying? But even that force, and even if it was put upon me, I took it and ran with it. Never stopped because of the love of hip hop. So it's a beautiful story. I'm up to that stage in my life. I recap everything. I take responsibility for the things that I've done, for the things that I created, things that I helped build, the parts that I played in that helped others. My contribute to hip hop is bigger than what the world has got about Cuban Link, and I want to state that mark in the game of hip hop to let it be known. You know what I'm saying? Cuban Link was one of those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like Pun was the illest Puerto Rican ever. I also had my little thing on my head and my little goal set to be the illest Cuban ever touched that mic. So did Faith. Faith's one of the illest Dominican. That's why we was, full Eclipse. And that's why before that, I forgot to tell you, it was the Caribbean connection. So that was one of our goals to do. And Pun got a chance to do it. I almost did at the time, but my time ain't over. So my whole life, I got a whole lifetime still to make that happen and do it the right way. I'm making some great music and just putting the contributions that I did in the past, my attributes that I put out in this game that people might not know. So that I didn't get compensated from the business side the right way. So that's all it is. It's about getting them 3 Grammys for my brother twin that he asked for his day. Next year we're going to 3 for the Grammys. You know what I'm saying? We want 3 Grammys. So I'm out to get them 3 Grammys for my brother. Make his legacy, that cycle complete with his words. Do it for myself. Do it for my family, my fans, friends. Do it for those that believed in me. Do it, for the pride of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And for the best of hip hop.
And also as well, because obviously, you're one of my personal opinion. You're one of the biggest artists on the East Coast here in hip hop. But for listeners that aren't very social media savvy and they're not already following you, how can they actually go about following you? Can you drop your social media handles that way our listeners can follow Cuban Link all across the board?
No doubt. You can follow me on IG, Cuban Link, COK. You can go to my Facebook, Felix Cuban Link Delgado. Yeah, right there. And I also got COK Entertainment also on Facebook, but that's more of a the artistry page. The other ones, I don't think I can even accept anymore. But try it anyway. I might erase some old ones that never even talked to me, and I had a job. But I'm still there. Twitter, I do got an account, but I ain't gonna lie, I never did the Twitter thing. My man opened it up. I think he tweeted something. I don't even know. I never even seen the Twitter or might tweet on it. But I do have an account. I might have to get a little more active because I have to know how that runs. Me, I got to take every little social media thing one at a time. And I was addicted to before to the Facebook, and then I got into IG, and now it's TikTok. And then I'm slowly going to the Twitter a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how it works, but I'm gonna get active on that. But those are my media platforms that you have to catch me on, and it's really be me though. You know what I'm saying? Really be me, especially on IG and Facebook. So just know you have to contact me there. You can find out more information about what my upcoming project's going to be, which I have a lot. Like I said, I'm working on a book. It's going to be called Linkfamous. So infamous with an L in front. Linkfamous. So, and then you also, I'm also doing a documentary, you know what I'm saying, with just my life, you know what I'm saying? And believe me, it's not going to be surrounded by Fat Joe's situation. That's just a missing part that, you know, most didn't get to see the dark. That's the dark part that nobody got to see because it wasn't even put out there, right? There was so much controversy behind it. But I'm talking about the positive that I was talking about, that journey, you know, the journey to glory that we all have. You know what I'm saying? Some of us get cut short. Some of us stop, you know, being on that journey. Those of us that continue know what I'm talking about. And that's just the journey I'm on. You know, I'm also writing. You know, I've always been a writer, so the ghost writing also been a part of me. And also me doing a little series that I wrote, piggybacks off the Scarface movie. You know, it's a lot of things that I got going on, but it's so many things. Like I said, I want to wear all the hats at once. But it's definitely different departments that, you know, the CLK brand's going to be, you know, merchandise, all of that. So it's going to be a lot of different departments that we're going to have here. Just has the blueprint set. It's got to put the action. Put the power behind it, got to put the manufacturing behind it, and I want to be self-contained, you know, where at the end of the day, besides the rewards, it's really me saying what direction I want each thing that I, you know, each project that I do, where to go, how to go about it, and as it makes more sense of me putting it out myself. I just want to get those avenues ourselves in COK to put them out in the right way where everybody get a chance to view it, see it, and know where it's going to be at. And that's all. That's all it is, man. It's my back to the wall. You know what I'm saying? It's what life put me, you know, put in front of me. So if that's what, you know what I'm saying, it's not even what I'm up against. It's also the mentality. That's a blessing. If the rewards are bigger, the work is harder. The work is going to be definitely harder. But the creativity, the journey on it, through it, it's priceless. It's priceless because that's the knowledge. That's where your road is at. That's where my road is at. That's what I know I have to do. The vision will be seen. The vision is definitely going to get attained. So that's all it is. It's about being focused and really knowing where your road is. And that's where I'm at. And that's when I finally see the vision of where I need to go. So that's where I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Always positive with God. You know what I'm saying? Leading the way. And, you know what I'm saying? Trying to keep it as positive as I could. And you know, giving out that message because we're up to that age where, you know what I'm saying, we got to drop them jewels and gems. You know, I think a lot of people forgot about them jewels and gems and they just got stuck on the fake, you know what I'm saying, fake messages and negative, you know, a lot of negative shit. So I want to bring that. I want to restore them jewels, shine them up for y'all. And, you know, make sure y'all get that. And who's better to drop them jewels and gems than Cuban? You know what I'm saying? It's all about that chain gang. So at the end of the day, you know, we're going to do everything, you know, the way it's supposed to have been done back in the day. So y'all going to feel the energy. Y'all going to know what I'm about this time around. Y'all going to see the full 100% Cuban link. Go at the songs, go at that camera, and go at that 3 Grammys that's on actually get.
And I just got to say right quick before we actually part ways tonight, man, I just got to first and foremost say thank you so much for just a little bit of your time here this evening. And of course, man, thank you so much for years of monumental music, man. Like I told you at the beginning of the interview, I've been a Cuban Link and Terror Squad fan for so many years, man. I still bump that music and your 24K and your Chain Reaction album like it legit came out yesterday, you know what I mean? I still got it in my car, so thank you so much, man, for just making music that we all had the opportunity to enjoy for so many years.
DJ Immortal, nothing but love, baby. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for timeless music, immortal souls that live forever. You know why? Because they appreciate it. It was appreciated on earth even when they're not here. So legends never die. So check the boy Cuban Link out. DJ Immortal, nothing but love and thank you. And I'm humbled by your love and your remembrance of Cuban Link, man, of myself and the work that I put out there. So I appreciate you very much, brother. You know what I'm saying? And anytime you need me to do anything, as far as like talk, whatever, even do drops, man, I'm here for you.
Hey, man, the same goes for you as well, man. Thank you so much, Cuban, and you're most certainly welcome, man. I'll forever be a fan. If you keep making them, we here at 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM is going to keep spinning them, man. Thank you so much, Cuban.
There you go, baby. That's it, baby. Let's go. We got another one down. Let's go, baby. Hey. Immortal. Nothing but love, baby. Canada to Bronx. Let's get him.
Most definitely, Cuban. Have yourself a great night, man. We'll definitely talk soon.
You too, baby. One love.